everybody, welcome back to For Pilates' Sake. Matilda and I are going to show you spine stretch. The spring is a 1, it's the lowest spring that you can put, at least on these chairs. You are sitting in a straddle position. Now, obviously, if you don't have the hamstring length like we taught in our previous videos, you can have the knees bent, you can prop your hips up under a yoga mat or a yoga block or something like that. So she's going to set herself up so her arms are on the paddle with a slight internal rotation of the hands so that the arms, if you can't quite see, they're slightly bent. They're not completely straight. She's going to, before she even moves, she's going to find that connection of her pinky line all the way into the back of her shoulder girdle. So now that when she inhales to move the paddle down, it's kind of like this circle of energy. So on her inhale, her palms press down onto the paddle, allowing her abdominals and her spine to flex forward. Then she's going to resist the paddle rising up. A lot of times I'll talk to the armpits. So as she's pressing down with the palm, the armpits connect as well. And then she uses the flexors of her spine to bend onto the paddle, taking it all the way to the floor. And then resist the rising of the paddle so you somewhat stay in your flexors, palms, and armpits. As she exhales to flex forward, she wants that tail curl towards the chair as well without rolling too far back off her sit bones. There is a little bit of that happening because otherwise she would just be flexing her hip joints, which really wouldn't be too available in this exercise anyways. So we would do that maybe 5 times. So inhale to tall, exhale, pull the paddle into those armpits, exhale, stand those armpits onto the paddle. And you feel a lot of belly in that, don't you? Huge. So when your arms are connected to your shoulder girdle, the belly has no choice but to turn on. You don't have to preemptively squeeze it or engage it. It just has to work. Feet can be flexed or pointed. I was taught with flexed feet. Me too. Ideally, the same thing happens here, that the feet don't turn out, that they try to stay, center of toe in line with knee, in line with hip, so that we're not getting that windshield wiper thing happening with the legs. Anything you want to add to that?
No, not so much to the exercise. I think just the fact that the tendencies of what people typically do here is it becomes an arm exercise rather than a spinal
flexion exercise,
rather
right?
than spine stretch. So what you'll see a lot of is the spine doesn't move, and it's just the arms that will go up and down.
Okay.
And they'll kind of be chasing it. Or I think another thing is that people will push the arms down, they'll hunch backwards, and then they'll kind of be underneath the spring.
Yeah, and I think that's why again, it depends on arm length. If you had really shorter arms, perhaps they could be straighter. But that's what's going to happen. You have to find a little bit of that bend so she can hook her palms into the back of the shoulder, which will turn on her belly, and it moves as a unit, so to speak. But yeah, that is what happens. They try to pull it back instead of getting on top of it. Then we're on her flexors.
So the paddle kind of comes down initially
to armpit level.
Armpit level, and then it's all spinal.
Guts right
and
on top of it.
And it's like flex, and because there's the angle of the paddle again.
Exactly.
See how much the paddle has to move towards me before it goes straight down? Well, if the paddle's coming this way, that means I have to go this way, but it doesn't mean I have to hunch. Right? So I just rotate my pelvis.
A little bit off your sits bones.
Off
there you
my
go.
sits bones, and then as soon as the paddle goes down, then I can get on top of it, not under it or behind it. So really start to understand what that even means to be on top of the spring.
And that's why I think sometimes that helps to get people propped up, especially if they're tiny.
Absolutely.
You got those tiny people, they're way up here, and you're like, oh my God, I got to get the paddle down for them. So I'm like this with my feet going, okay, can you get on top of it? Which you could do to assist the person. Or if you're lucky enough to have a raised mat, you would put that against the raised mat and they would sit on top, because you do want them to get on top of that spring.
Or your modified version.
So here she is. She starts with the paddle down, and now she's got her flexors on it. That's generally where I like to start them. We just wanted to show you the full meal deal first, and then the paddle rise up, and she tries to stay in the spring. Don't give the spring up. Don't give it away and then recatch it. See if you can stay in the spring so it stays in your center. So now your center moves onto that paddle to move your spine, and you exhale forward, right? Just don't lose it as it rises up. And that's where you might not bring it all the way to the top.
Maybe not.
Just stop it right there, maybe.
It stays in you the whole time. You're never kind of chasing it.
Exactly.
You're kind of placing it, I guess, in a sense.
Yeah. I think it just has to
Yeah.
stay within you. Once
Yeah.
you've lost it, and then you got to reorganize and not done well. So that's our perspective on that exercise. If you have any questions, please put in the comments below. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and we'll see you in our next video.
Thank you.